I should go on YouTube. I figured I'd do a little walk around of my 2002 Honda CR125. So I picked this bike up for $700. Top end was off, blown up, crank was shot. It had some CRF 450 plastic zip tied onto it, and it was just not good whatsoever. And this is the second restoration I've done on this bike. I'll throw a photo of the first one on the screen for you. So I'll do a walk around the bike front to back. So this bike has a set of CRF 250 triple clamps from a 2004. The actual forks are from a 2008, and the front and rear wheels are from a 2004 as well. So here at the front of the bike, you can see it's not looking like a 2002 CR125, and that's because I have 2020 plastics on the front. This is a Cycra Stadium front number plate with a Cycralite vented front fender with a custom mount that I built just to fit my clamps. Now these are Carmichael Bend Renthal fat bars with stock levers, stock throttle housing, just some nice Renthal grips. But it does have 2004 CRF 250R triple clamps off of one of my previous bikes. And I did modify it. Excuse the wires. My kill switch is a bit of a mess right now. I did modify it to accept a 2008 Honda steering damper off of a parts bike that I had. And I also had my friend powder coat them Jolly Rancher red for me, and I think it looks pretty great. And then I finally learned how to do a fork seal rebuild, so I ran out of oil halfway through the process, so that's what the sticker's for. I also had my friend powder coat my hubs and linkages, along with some engine case covers. I also have a set of GPI radiators on this bike with a set of Works Connection radiator braces and GPI rad hoses. And then another nice piece on this bike is my Pro Circuit Works pipe. For 2002, it's not exactly an easy part to find, and I was really proud of that eBay find. It was painted all flat black. I'll throw a photo up on the screen for you. But I went through, wire wheeled the entire thing, and heat treated all the wells to give it that nice Works pipe look. I think it comes out pretty well. Now the only downfall is that I do have to WD-40 it after every wet ride or wash, but I think it's worth the price of admission. And then on the Kickstarter, I'm just trying something out here with a little piece of rubber so it's not rubbing my pipe. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I'm going to try her out. Another mod of this bike is I have 2008 CRF 250 front and rear brake setup, and it really outperforms the 2002 CR stuff that came on this bike. I have a Decal Works gripper seat cover. I bought it last year, and over the summertime it turned nice and pink on me. So I'm probably going to replace that soon. But I just rebuilt the engine for the second time. This year I only did a top end, but I did have to replate the cylinder. And don't mind all the wiring. I've got a little more work to do with that. And I'll show you where I relocated my CDI to afterwards. As far as the engine goes, it's relatively stock. Since this year I went to a Honda piston instead of a Vertex, just to make sure that it'll last halfway through the season. I'll probably throw a forged Wiseco or something in. For the crank, it is a hot rods crank with a hot rods connecting rod, and all Pivot Works bearings throughout, which I got in the Wrench Rabbit rebuild kit. I'm running stock reeds, stock exhaust flange, stock head, and stock Mikuni carburetor. So as I mentioned, I rebuilt this bike, but some of the parts to go on the wall of shame would be the stock Honda crank that I got with the bike when I originally purchased it. There's a fair bit of damage inside of there. That's nice and crusty. Then this is the stock piston that came out of it. It's all scored up. The cylinder was actually able to be used one more time until the end of the season last year, when I seemed to snap a piston ring. This is a Vertex cast piston, and I was riding a lot of sand toward the end of the year, and it reached up and bit me because I didn't have my airbox sealed properly. On the bike I have full red UFO plastics, except of course for the Cycra front number plate and fender. Now I mentioned that I relocated my CDI box, and I did that for the simple reason of not having enough room after I put the steering damper in. So I put it here because I thought it looked clean, and I saw some photos online of a guy who did this similar modification on a CR250, and I really liked it. But I wanted to make sure it was still removable for air filter service. So what I ended up doing, I found a piece of rubber belting, and believe me, it's homemade, but I think it works pretty well. So I used a stock Honda bracket, bolted it through the rubber belting, and I self-tapped some bolts into this piece of aluminum with a little bit of rubber padding and electrical tape. The seat does seat fully up against the subframe, so it doesn't cause any fitment issues. And I'm honestly pretty happy with it. So whenever you go to change your air filter or service whatever, you just have to flip that up on the tank and then you have full access. So I have a twin air wash cover, mainly because I don't have a clean air filter right now. I'm waiting to break the engine in. So I figured that would be better to seal it up than have anything else get inside the engine. So along with the Pro Circuit Works pipe, I am running a Pro Circuit Shorty R304 silencer on it. It gives it a nice sound. I think I have some clips of last year running the engine with it. I'll throw in there when I can. So when I bought this bike for $700 Canadian, which for all my American friends here is under $500 for you, it was definitely clapped out. So I went through, I did rear wheel bearings, I did linkage bearings, the upper shock bearing, swing arm bearing. I did the head tube bearings, I guess you call them steering stem. And then I also did the front wheel bearings. And then it's just been a nut and bolt restoration basically. And I'm extremely happy with the outcome here. I have a ton of photos during the entire rebuild process of this bike. So after all the video is done, I'll throw a little slideshow in for you. So I hope this video wasn't too painful to watch, since it's really my first crack at this type of thing. But I really hope to start making more videos of, say, working on this bike and especially riding it. I'm definitely looking forward to getting the season started. So let me know what you think. If you don't mind, just like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Thanks.